Legal advice, because there's always small print. We must remind you that the health advice given on this show is general advice, and that for any specific condition you must seek the help and guidance of your doctor or a professional medical advisor before commencing any treatment or any kind of dietary regime. And hello and welcome to the Health Show, a new approach to health, an alternative approach to health, but also a complementary approach to health. And we have a panel with us today of experts.
Hello, I'm Leonie Amond. I'm a kinesiologist. I'm very pleased to be here with us.
My name is Kate Moss and I'm a yoga instructor in Havia.
And I'm Jeremy Kenton. I'm an osteopath, naturopath and expert medical witness.
My name is Liz Nagle. I'm a naturopath and a thermographer.
Hello there, my name is Juliette Noske and I'm a yoga teacher, a life coach and a neurolinguistic programmer.
And today we're going to be talking about colds, flu, and looking after yourself when you have these problems. And it's a classic problem, especially as winter approaches. But we all have different approaches in terms of handling the patient and advising the patient on what they can do. So let's try your approach, the naturopathic approach.
Okay, me first. Naturopathic approach would be, I suppose, not to suppress the symptoms, because very often people think a cold or flu is actually an illness, and it isn't. It's just their immune system is working, which is fantastic, and it means they're not sick, actually, which is a little bit odd, maybe, sounds a bit odd. But so it is really about just appreciating the fact that when you've got a sore throat or swollen glands and a runny nose and all of that, it's actually, you should be saying, this is brilliant, my immune system is working.
And those symptoms are there for a reason.
They are.
But then again, the standard orthodox approach is that they're there because you're ill. And they tend to take the approach that the symptoms have got to be combated and blocked and prevented. But then there's the whole anatomy and physiology of a problem with a cold, not flu, but a cold, where your temperature goes up because you're trying to destroy the bacteria that may be causing it. Which then produces symptoms, and we all know what it's like to have a cough and a cold, and you've got a cough at the moment, and we all get them. But what would make the naturopathic approach different? How would you approach the patient? So rather than grabbing ibuprofen or paracetamol, what would you recommend for them?
Okay, so we're trying not to suppress the symptoms, but trying to get the body to deal with it a little bit quicker. So what we're trying to do is just boost the immune system so that the body can handle the symptoms quicker.
But how would you do it?
How would I do that? Well, I'm also trying to ameliorate the discomfort of the symptoms. So I'd be using things like garlic and ginger that are here on the table, and honey. Honey is a great soother and antimicrobial, but garlic will also help to boost the immune system, and ginger and turmeric and cayenne. They're all things that help to loosen. Cayenne in particular, cayenne pepper, will just loosen the mucus and just help to get it out quicker, because you don't want it hanging around. You don't want it getting all green and scooey and stuck in your nose and your throat and in your head.
But then again, I mean, for somebody who's got to go to work or they've got children to look after and they want an instant fix.
Well, there's no such thing as an instant fix, and I really think it's very irresponsible of people to go to work and school and stuff. I think they should just go home and take the morning in bed or the afternoon in bed or the day in bed or whatever it is. They will recover much quicker, and they won't be spreading it around.
Isn't there I should have gone home then. I should have gone home.
Yeah, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah, no, you can't leave now.
Go.
Are we supposed to feed a cold, or is that feeding a fever? What's, like lots of water or hot chicken soup? That's an old wives' tale.
Feed a cold, something else.
Well, the actual saying, which is often misquoted, is feed a cold and end to starve the fever, because if you feed the cold, you'll end up with the fever. It'll get worse.
Okay.
So the theory was you'd fast and not eat. That was the true origin.
Food, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But ultimately the feed is a good thing, isn't it?
Well, it is, because it's destroying bacteria or viruses, because they're what are known as heat labile, which means that they're destroyed at certain temperatures. So your body brings itself up to a temperature, and that will kill them off. But then you've got to remember you've got people who are elderly or very young and unwell, where if the temperature is allowed to go too high, it then becomes a critical clinical emergency. And my argument would be that then the naturopathic approach falls down, because it's not quick enough to bring the temperature down in somebody who has severe asthma or high blood pressure or heart issue. And there are times when you've got to introduce something.
Children or elderly people, it's important, isn't it, to consult a doctor at that point?
Yeah, because otherwise you're putting them at risk.
Well, only if it's a very high fever. But other than that, what we're doing is bringing down the fever. I mean, if you have a very high fever, call the ambulance for sure. But I think with the naturopathic approach, you see, a naturopathic approach is more than just dealing with an acute thing. I think it's more about health maintenance.
And
it's more
looking
about
after yourself.
looking after yourself so that you don't get these acute episodes.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you do, and then you call the ambulance.
And trying to prevent. I don't think the ambulance people are very happy with you being called for that. But see your doctor if the temperature is getting higher.
Yeah.
And we do have that sort of rider throughout all these shows that this programme is not a substitute for medical advice. And if you have a specific problem, then contact your medical practitioner.
Yeah.
Be it a naturopathic alternative approach. So what about the other therapies? How can they be used? What else could be used?
Kinesiology, it's preventative. I think with most alternative therapies, we're looking at preventative generally, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's being recommended really to go and see an alternative practitioner or a complementary practitioner on a regular basis, whether it's once a month, once every 3 months, just to maintain the stability and the equilibrium within the body. So with kinesiology, we're looking at the imbalance that might be going on, whether it's biochemistry, emotional, energetic, and so kinesiology would muscle test, and there'd be a weakness or a strength shown in the muscle test, which would give me an indication of where the priority problem lies within the body. So I can find out if you might need extra vitamins or minerals, which ones, what dose, through reading the muscle test.
So would you get many people going to you with cold and flu, or is that not what they go to you for?
No, most people would come to me more for sort of more deeper emotional problems. I'm sure we're going to come to stress and another programme and other emotional issues. But it certainly helps the general kind of preventative stages really of getting anything. So if your body's healthy and strong because you're complete with the right vitamins and minerals in your system, and you've not weakened your system in any way, then that's obviously going to help your immune system immensely. So
I mean, the true cause of the common cold is still unknown. It's one of the great things in medicine that for years, and it's quite fashionable in the 1920s, 30s, 40s and 60s, that people were paid and be given various pathogens and organisms to try and reproduce cold.
Just 50s. You left out the 50s.
It didn't happen. No, seriously, it didn't happen in the 50s. I don't think there was the funding after the war. We left out the 40s as well. But the thing is that the common cold is still a huge mystery.
Well,
it's the commonest problem.
I have a theory.
And the theory is
that these bacteria and virus either live in us all the time or they're floating by in the atmosphere, and it's only when our pH, our internal pH, is not at its optimal neutral that they can thrive in bigger numbers than they should. Bacteria need an alkaline environment, and virus needs an acidic environment. And really, once our bodies are outside of that neutral pH, then they can grow.
But then the argument to
support
that
each other.
one is the fact that viruses and bacteria are there, they're there all the time.
Yeah.
But it's what stage are they allowed to reproduce, and then it becomes a clinical condition. But if you look at somebody sneezing at you, and you've only got to be in the tube, the metro, the underground,
Sitting here beside Kate.
or sitting beside Kate, and somebody sneezes, and the speed of that sneeze, and you're talking a distance of up to the final scatter, 35 metres, 3.5 metres
Did you research
in
that?
proximity.
No,
Well-known fact.
Well-known fact.
Well-known
We did a
fact.
test before we came.
No, there was work done last year by a French doctor called Boulembois, who actually measured and then discovered that it was more effective using snow and put people in front of snow because you pick up the droplets from the snow. Charming
Frozen
subject, this, isn't it?
But how comes that, you know, when somebody says, you know, watch out, I've got a cold, how come that not everyone that they come into contact with gets that cold? You know, some
Because
people
their
don't.
immune system is much stronger.
because their pH is neutral.
Well, I disagree with that one, but never mind.
But that comes down to then their general well-being and keeping a healthy lifestyle.
Prevention.
Yeah, which is
Not
one of
being
the
able to rule out
things.
So getting your regular five fruit and veg intake a day, which probably
keeping
actually
your
these days
things
is a lot
clear.
more than that. And in fact, interesting, we've got a smoothie juice that you brought along, haven't you, Juliette?
Yeah.
Can we look at this?
And I think, you know, it's got your probably your 5 vegetables in it, but it's got all these superfoods in, I
This
imagine,
is
as
the green
well.
goddess.
Yeah.
Can we zoom in on this? I mean, can we actually take it out of its container and look at the consistency?
No,
Who's got a
I can
microscope?
promise you it does taste
Yeah.
good. The dark green is probably due to the spirulina that's in there.
Right.
Um,
So what's in it? What does it contain?
so we have spinach, so that you can be strong like Popeye. We have lemon juice, the juice of one whole lemon,
Vitamin C.
for your alkaline and vitamin C. Yeah. We have cucumber, pear, mango, and then various other things like what are they?
Chia seeds?
Chia seeds, yeah.
What?
And
There's
pumpkin
sage
seeds
Oh, right.
and maca powder.
Mac
Good
powder.
for
This sounds like
maca powder, good for the
makeup.
libido.
No.
Can you,
Right.
So could you explain a bit more about the superfoods? Because
Yeah.
these days vegetables and fruit don't hold so many vitamins in there, do they? Because there's a lot of GM foods, things are being grown very quickly. And from
There
what
isn't
I
enough
understand,
selenium in
and
the
in
earth.
the media it's explaining that there's not enough nutritional content. And that's why a lot of people now are turning to having these juices every day, aren't they?
Yeah.
And adding these powder compositions of algae, spirulina. I mean, I'm not sure where they all come from.
Maca powder is a root vegetable from Peru.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're good. I think you have to have them in, you know, in small
Right
amounts.
quantity.
Yeah, and you don't want to overdose on them either.
On the wheatgrass.
And if you're trying anything new, it's probably always good to try one ingredient at a time.
Yeah.
Just to make sure you don't have any
Low
kind of
dose.
reactions. And
Yeah.
something like kinesiology can test you and make sure that you don't have any kind of reactions or intolerances to what you're taking.
Yeah.
So,
But you
just
could
check.
never eat that amount, for example. You could never eat that amount in one go. But if you juice and or make a smoothie of it, then it's much easier, you know.
Sort
So
of
the
iron.
body intakes it better, is that why?
Yeah.
Sort of concentrated content then of iron and vitamins, B's, lots of B. vitamins,
Selenium
I
and
imagine.
magnesium and,
Yeah.
and vitamin C.
Yeah.
And what does it taste like?
I think you should try it, Jo.
It's got some cocoa powder in there as
Oh,
well.
God.
Come on,
Now,
Jeremy.
you haven't got a cold, have you? There's no risk.
No, I'm not going to touch it, don't worry.
Right, live on air. Okay, here we go. The colour is revolting. But there again, if this was manufactured, they put colour in it.
I just think it's got a nice mango in it.
My God, I have to say, it's actually really nice.
It's got lots of sweet fruits in it.
I'm
Not bad at all, eh?
Appearances can be deceptive.
I always laugh, you know, when I'm watching TV chefs and they always say, amazing, you know, and I think, ugh.
Yeah, but that actually tastes nice. But how often would somebody have to take that? And how long would it be before it actually helped them?
Well, it's part of your lifestyle, so it's not like you have one once a month and then
Right.
and then it does you any good. It's
So they're not going to take it
introducing-
like paracetamol, you know, 1-3 times a day with
No.
food or something.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I have, if that's what you're looking for.
Which is what the average person
Okay,
wants.
all
They
right,
want
well,
a quick fix,
Okay,
unfortunately.
a really quick fix is a clove of garlic,
Yep.
or a bulb of garlic actually, crush it all and put it into a jar of honey and take a teaspoon every 15 minutes until your symptoms start to ease,
Yeah.
and then take it just when you have the
That
symptoms.
sounds very soothing.
So
So the
it's
bunch of
very
raw garlic
soothing.
in the honey.
Bunch of raw garlic, like a whole
Crushed.
crush,
Crush or a whole bowl?
a whole bowl.
Yeah.
So this is a whole bowl.
So
In the honey.
So I'm going to take one.
Well, I mean-
I've got one at home, but I'm going to do it tonight.
Yeah, and what it does is that the
Burns your throat away.
well, it doesn't. The honey soothes and the garlic,
garlic kills
kills
the
off,
septum.
but the honey slows the movement down the throat, so it keeps the garlic in all the
Sort
sore
of locked
places.
into the
Yes.
inflamed
So
I'm
tissue.
gonna want to do it
what
tomorrow.
I really like as
You'll
well
stink too,
is,
mind you.
gargling with tea tree oil in water,
Yeah.
because that's also an antibacterial.
You have to be careful which tea tree oil it has to be an ingested. Well, it shouldn't be ingested actually.
So you shouldn't swallow it.
Shouldn't
no,
swallow
I
it.
will get rid of it.
Yeah.
And
Gargle and
it's-
spit it out.
really calms and helps
Yeah.
when you've got.
But simply gargling with salt water,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Sea salt
Just
rather
really,
than normal
really
salt.
simple
Yeah.
Good
things
salt,
that we've
not
forgotten, you know,
I know.
just the basics.
Yeah.
Well, my father was an ear, nose and throat surgeon, and he had a lot of very well-known actors and singers that used to come to him, and he had this miracle mixture. And after he died, I actually found the recipe for this, which he'd given to a pharmacist, and it consisted of honey, lemon, and glycerin.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people paid him a fortune.
Yeah.
But old-fashioned remedies.
Yeah.
But gargling with salt water, always effective. But even boiled onions, a plate of boiled onions, very good to reduce mucus.
So
Reducing dairy
household products, basically, most people will have
Yeah.
an emergency when it comes on at
Yeah.
3 a.m. and you're.
But
Yeah.
what about the
Hop up
headache?
out of bed immediately and do something.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the morning. Hop up out of bed immediately.
Propolis, really.
Yeah, propolis is great too.
Right.
Well, this is something you can get from your pharmacy. But
And
it's
propolis
just a
consists of?
propolis and what else is in there? It's got thyme. Actually, thyme's also antiseptic, isn't it? And it's just a spray. And you spray it in.
And,
It's,
and
But you can
propolis,
also take direct propolis. I do both. I do the spray in the throat, and then I do the 24 drops in a small bit of juice. Like
How would you
3 times a day, just
explain
keep-
how propolis works?
And
And
what
what
is
is it? What is
Yeah.
propolis? How does it work?
That I don't know. I mean, I know it comes from bees. I know
Right.
bees make it, but I
Yeah.
know and what it does is it kills bacteria. So
Right,
it will
so-
attack the bacteria in your
Yeah.
system.
I think it comes from the hive of a bee actually. Yeah.
It's
and then
part of the
it's
building
used to,
block.
like, they
isn't
use it to like
Yeah.
glue, like cement
Hmm.
parts of the hive together.
Mm.
But how that, what they use it for doesn't really
No.
serve us in our colds. Do you know what I mean? but
Well,
it does serve us.
Do
but it's
bees
not,
get colds?
I don't know.
Interesting proposition.
Yeah, I'll
But
do some research.
what about the headache? That awful headache when you have a cold. Is there anything that you'd recommend?
Well, that's from just a build-up of sinus and the pressure that's.
I think
Has
it's
anyone
just-
used a neti pot here?
No, I
Yeah.
haven't. Have you?
You have? No, I haven't. I don't ever want to.
Yes.
But you
Yes.
have.
Sorry, what is
And
this?
Oh, you love this. We should have brought one of these for you to try.
Right.
I do actually have one at home. A neti pot is
Like a small little
a
Aladdin
small
teapot.
little, Aladdin's teapot with a very long spout, and basically you fill it with salt water, warmish,
Yeah.
room temperature salt water,
I love this.
and then you tip your nose, you pour the pot in one nostril, and the water comes out the other nostril.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the
You
other
could do
way.
it as a party trick, but it's not
Yeah. The other way used to be to use raw beetroot juice.
Okay, yeah.
What, through your nose?
Raw,
That sounds messy.
raw beetroot
There's a
juice.
YouTube video of a guy using something.
Yeah.
Wear an old t-shirt.
Oh, using
doing
Yeah.
that.
he does it with scotch, and it's quite an interesting outcome.
Well, we've
Not
seen
medicinal
people do it
medicine.
with tequila
He
as
just
well.
does
but
it
we
for
won't-
effect.
Of course, there is
Yeah.
the
Yeah. So the other one, I mean, yoga breathing, for example,
Yeah.
pranayama, which is the breathing exercises in yoga. Because you do get all blocked up and you can't breathe properly. And there's a separate nostril breathing technique that you can do. And I've actually had clients use that to help clear themselves. Yeah.
So yes, Juliette, as well, the other good way of releasing that pressure from the head is the old-fashioned method, isn't it? Boil of boiled water with a bit of eucalyptus oil or Vicks or whatever, that sort of menthol.
Yeah. Menthol
And then put
crystals.
your head over the top, towel over the top of that, and just steam, and then that just releases. I mean, it's a temporary fix, but it's a good temporary fix to blocked
And
sinuses.
then there's like pressure points that you can use to just relieve the blocked sinuses, which would be just your two thumbs, and you lean your elbows on the table and you just kind of use the pressure, you just lean in like that.
And what about aches and
And
pains
then- and
generally? I mean, you quite often have aches and pains in colds. How would you deal with that?
Well, turmeric is really good, and magnesium are really good for just relaxing those. That's the turmeric and the turmeric powder there, that's the fresh one.
And sort of hot blankets, or something warm along the back, maybe heated.
Yeah,
blankets.
heating the T2, just below that little bump at the bottom of the spine.
The prominent bit.
The prominent bit.
Level with your shoulders.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just
if you
heating
warm that
with a hot water bottle or a hot towel or something.
And
But-
don't go out with that. Don't
Go out with
expose
it
that. Don't expose it in the cold.
Scarf.
Wear a
Hat.
scarf. Keep your kidneys. The old things that your grandmother always said.
Hat, scarf,
Hats,
wrap up warm.
Wrap up warm, but
Don't
then
go out with
again...
wet
My
hair.
grandmother told me that stuff.
Did you?
No.
Perhaps you
Well,
didn't. You didn't
maybe you
listen.
lived in
Yeah.
a warm climate.
Yeah.
So you're on
Yeah.
our programme then.
I know. I feel really charged to go home and sort myself out.
But you're the diseased one, you see.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm going to go home and do
Yeah,
the
okay,
gargling
we-
and the hot water bottle.
Well, come on
Right.
then, Jeremy. Just
But the aches and pains are there for a reason, and they're happening because of bacterial, or if it's flu, viral invasion into tissue. And if we think of this diagram behind us, and we think in terms of the fact that you have all kinds of horrible words now, mucus, snot, all these wonderful things going on, inflamed tissue, inflamed right into the lungs, that irritating cough, the headache that goes with it, partly because the blood vessels are constricting, they're becoming narrower.
why did the bones hurt?
Well, it's not the bones themselves, it's a muscular reaction to the nerve pathway that supplies the muscle.
Okay.
So everything is engorged, everything's inflamed, your temperature's high. Now, you'd say that that's there because it's your body's way of trying to defend itself, and it is to a certain extent.
And push it
But
out.
it's that point when it takes over and you then go into a sort of disease crisis, which is then when you've got to be careful in terms of monitoring to make
Yeah,
sure that the
most
person
people
doesn't become too ill. That's fine with a cold, and that's fairly minor, no risk. But the problem then is if you've got a virus such as flu, and we all know the fact that when you've got a cold, we won't talk about man flu, but when you've got a cold, slight raise in temperature, slight cough, sniffly nose, runny nose, headache. Flu, totally different matter. Massive raise in temperature. Everything aches. You can't even open your eyes to get out of bed. But if that temperature becomes dangerously high, and as we said, with people who have
Very young or very
issues, the young, the old, those who are ill, and there is a
When it goes to
risk.
the chest is
Well,
obviously
it is
really
Major
important,
problem.
to open the windows, get as much fresh air in as possible. Don't cover up with loads of
Depending on
duvets
which
and everything.
country you're in, obviously.
No, anywhere. Let the snowy air in.
For normal
To bring
people, yes, but not for somebody who's got acute chronic obstructive
Or
pulmonary
smokers for 25
disease.
years, they're in their 80s
Wouldn't
perhaps.
recommend that. The old
Got
thing with
pneumonia,
TB used to be that they used to have these sanatoriums where they'd open the windows, and I think the figure was 30% of them died because of the effects of secondary pneumonia on top of the
You
TB.
don't get pneumonia from the cold.
Well, back then, they
You
used to.
Yeah, it was before antibiotics.
There's bacterial and viral pneumonia.
Yes.
There's lots of different types of
Yep,
pneumonia.
lobile pneummonia,
We
all
can have
kinds
another
of
programme
things.
on each one of
Just
But for today, I think we've pretty much come
I
to
think
an
we've
end
covered
on
the
colds.
cold and the flu, but we all know the difference. We all suffer from it, some more than others. What more can you say? So, The Health Show. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. See you next time.